Hi there, and welcome to this introduction to robotics. So in our first lesson, before we get into any kind of circuitry, we're going to need to understand a few basic concepts about the flow of electricity. The first thing we're going to discuss is a concept called voltage. So when we think of voltage, if you're going to associate one word with the concept of voltage, think about pressure. So it is the force that pushes the electricity through a conductor, through a material. All right, the higher that voltage is, the more electrical pressure we have built up. So you have likely heard this term before when you've seen things like a battery. Anything that stores energy in terms of electricity will always have a voltage rating, so how much pressure it will produce. So an example would be a AA or AAA battery are rated at 1.5 volts. So that is the amount of pressure that you can get from a AA or AAA battery. You can also get a battery that looks like this, where we have a 9-volt battery. So again, that's a higher amount of pressure now. Or you could even go up to something like this. This would be something you would find in a car. Most automotive systems run on 12 volts. So this battery would be rated at 12 volts. The next concept we need to understand is the movement of electrons, the flow of electricity. And the term that we use for that is something called current. So current is just simply the measurement of the amount of electrons moving. And we have a unit of measurement that we use for that, and it's called amperes, and most people use the term amps for short. The final concept that we're going to discuss here is something called resistance. So anytime that electricity is going to flow through a circuit, there's always something slowing it down. Now we can measure how much it's being slowed down by, and that term is called resistance. So anything that slows down that flow of current needs to be measured. It could slow it down a whole bunch and have very high amount of resistance, or it could slow it down just a little bit and have a very low amount of resistance. The unit that we use to measure resistance is called ohms, and it also shares the symbol for ohms would be the Greek letter omega.